Wyatt McSpadden, the author of Texas BBQ, the beautiful pictorial that's out recently. We had a few questions for Wyatt, and we hope you enjoy the interview. So what was your original goal when you were mapping out the creation of the book?
Well, I had a body of work already of barbecue places in Texas that I'd accumulated on different magazine assignments. And then when the University of Texas Press came to Nancy and me, and Nancy, who designed the book.
Your wife?
Yeah, my wife. I just needed to go out and take pictures that were as good as the ones that I already had. So some of the places I already knew, and some were discovered.
So it wasn't something that was being created out of whole cloth. So you already had a basis that you were building on.
Exactly. I had a little foundation of images and needed to fill out enough to create a book.
From what you had originally, and you had a picture in your mind of what you wanted it to be, when you had the end result and the book was originally published, was there a major difference in what you had originally conceived and what it actually was?
The book happened over a period of more than a year, and Nancy was designing it at home, in her home office. So we knew what we were doing, and we worked together on the layout, the sequencing of the photos, and really the only wild card when it was all said and done was the quality of the print job. It was printed in China, and when it came back from China, we were very, very happy with it.
You had to be pleased with it.
We were very happy with the quality of the print job.
The images were lush, they were deep, they were vibrant.
Absolutely.
What is it, if somebody hasn't been to Texas, they're not familiar with Texas except for the iconic Texans that you see on TV, you see in movies, what do you hope that they take away when somebody from New York City or somebody from Georgia picks up the book and they read through it and they look at the pictures, they read the text?
Well, I just hope that they're intrigued. One of the most consistent comments I've had from people who look at this book say, well, it made me hungry. And, that's good enough for me. But I also hope that they're intrigued enough that they would like to visit some of these places. This isn't really a travelogue book, but it would be a nice accompaniment to a book. I can think there's a specific book, Rob Walsh's book, Legends of Texas BBQ. It's a wonderful book that's mostly text, and this would be a great companion for that, for somebody who wanted to get in the car and do a Texas barbecue tour.
There are certain books like Smokestack Light that are set in a very specific time period, are reminiscent of that time period and of that time period. The barbecue culture and the barbecue world has changed drastically from when that book came out. Your book, it always seems as consciously timeless. The photos that appear in there almost look like they come from something by Wilbur Campbell, the Searching for Dixie Barbecue. They look like any of those photos could come from the 1950s or from the 2000s. Was that a conscious effort?
Well, those are the places that I'm drawn to. Those are the places that I want to photograph, the places that I'm compelled to photograph, are the ones that look like they did in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. The pictures from Pike's Market, original Pike's, and now Smitty's, those two pit rooms, we showed those, one black and white film and one color. 12 years have passed and the rooms are essentially the same. You can probably say the thing if you got a picture from 25 years ago. It's essentially the same.
When you were when you were imagining the photos that you were going to add to what you already had, were there any particular inspirations for the photography aspect of it, aside from the barbecue and the medium? Was there any photographers that you wanted to emulate or that you drew inspiration from?
I'm sure that there were, but and I've certainly gone out in my career with that notion. I want to take a picture like Ansel Adams or August Sander or whoever would have it, Carl Newman. But in this case, I really wasn't so conscious of that. I just knew that I needed to go. These are the pictures that I needed to take.
So if there were, it would be subconscious.
Well, I would say so. Yeah.
What was it that you were most pleased with the book? Would it be that it turned out the way that you wanted it to turn out? Was it the reception of the book? Was it the ability to collaborate with your wife on something so successful?
I think all of those things, but the sweetest part for me is the collaboration that Nancy and I had. She's a brilliant designer, and she took these photographs and presented them in their absolute best light. I mean, what could be better for a husband and wife team?
Right. So the book seems seems to capture a almost a mythic Texas in the way that these characters almost seem iconic. That they, for somebody who hasn't been to Texas, it almost gives a glimpse into what Texas is and what barbecue means to the people in Texas. Is that a fair assessment?
I think so. I mean, if that's how you look at it and you responded to it in that way. Right. I mean, when you first reached out to me on the telephone, I recall when you said, I've never made a phone call like this before.
Yeah.
But there was something about what you saw in that book that made you reach out to a guy halfway across the country and make a phone call like you've never made before. I'm sure you're not the only one that's reacted.
It's surprising to read a book about something that's almost completely foreign to you that lets you feel that now you know at least a small piece of that place. And that's certainly what the book does. People can pick up the book on Amazon.com.
That's right.
Where else do they get it?
Well, if you go to your local bookstore and they don't have it, tell them they need to get it.
Okay.
Amazon.com, the University of Texas Press has a website. Those are the two places to get it online. I don't know about bookstores here. Come to Texas, you can get it at any bookstore.
All right. And if they wanted to learn more about Wyatt McSpadden or about the book itself, where should they go?
WyattMcSpadden.com.
Okay. Thank you very much, Wyatt.
Thanks very much, Eric. Appreciate it.